If you can only pick one, can you do it, Dan? If you had to pick one, put all your eggs in a tech basket, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, who do you want?
Look, if there's one to bet on, it's Tesla.
In this video, Tesla stock gets crushed again. Dan Ives says Tesla is the one to bet on. A quick stock portfolio update. Yes, I've been buying the dip, of course. And I screwed up. Plus, one of my biggest investing secrets. So let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. So Tesla stock today getting absolutely reamed once again. Nothing fundamental changing about the business, but panic in the stock market. The stock down over 5%. Again, just for a little bit of context, just over the last month, after Tesla stock went vertical following their record deliveries in Q4, the stock now down since that peak closing price by more than 20%, more than $250. As I posted on Twitter today, Tesla stock is up a whopping 11.49% over the past 12 months. It's not like production approximately doubled year over year and will do the same again this year. It's not like auto margins are already 2 to 3 times above the rest of the industry and still growing, marching steadily toward 40%. Not like the competition is still coming prematurely all over itself. It's not like Tesla has an unassailable lead in terms of autonomy with their full self-driving technology. And it's not like Tesla is on the path to solving AGI. As I commented in this thread, this reminds me of the 5-year period from 2014 to 2019 where the stock did nothing except scare out some weak hands. This is the same type of setup in my opinion. Tesla is going to blow it out of the water beginning with their Q4 results, and 2022 is a year of hypergrowth for Tesla. With the Austin factory, the Berlin factory, gross margins increasing, earnings increasing, Wall Street estimates way off the mark, extremely conservative. They're going to miss by miles because they're not expecting Tesla to execute as well as they do. And yet, despite this setup, the stock has basically gone nowhere over the last year. Gary Black adding some additional context here. 2022 earnings estimates for Tesla up over 50% in the past 12 months. These are the consensus estimates from Wall Street. Yet as this has happened, Tesla's PE has collapsed. Gary Black here sharing a great shot from the Bloomberg terminal. Yellow line here. This is Tesla's PE ratio, price to earnings based on analyst estimates. We can see this as high as 220. Suddenly, late 2021, early 2022, fallen through the fucking floor. Keeping in mind that the analyst consensus estimates for Tesla are massively underestimating what the company will deliver on, this doesn't even paint a true picture of where Tesla's going to be in terms of earnings. The point here, this is a gigantic disconnect. At some point in the future, I think there'll be a reconnection. If you can't read between the lines, well, stick around till later in this video and maybe my actions will explain what I'm getting at. Now, let's listen to Dan Ives, who seems to get it.
The point is on transformational growth names, if you look at it straight PE over the next year, you would have missed out on Netflix, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, and the list goes on. And I'm just saying that you can't put them in the same bucket in terms of a traditional PE when you're looking at what I view as the biggest transformation that we've seen, we call a fourth industrial revolution, in terms of technology spend over the last 25 years.
Dan, just because we got earnings, I know we kind of got sidetracked. I think this is actually arguably a more important conversation. But next week, if you can only pick one, can you do it, Dan? If you had to pick one, put all your eggs in a tech basket, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, who do you want?
Look, if there's one to bet on, it's Tesla.
Well, as I'm sure most of you will know, completely agree with Dan. I mean, hard to argue with that. Don't bet against Elon, don't bet against Tesla, and still currently all in on Tesla stock. And I'll discuss this more later in the video relating to how I screwed up. By the way, if you want your own Don't Bet Against Elon merch, check out the card in the pinned comment.
Because to me,
I love it.
Because you look at delivery trajectory, forget whisper numbers. I think ultimately this is one that could be, north of 1.5 million units 2022. The production issues, Austin's going to be coming online, very shortly, and then obviously you'll have Berlin as well. You look what's happening on EVs. That's not stopping because the 10-year is going up 20 bips.
Dan Ives proving to be a beacon of reason in a sea of stupidity in the stock market. Currently, investors panicking. Things that have absolutely nothing to do with the execution of businesses like Tesla are dramatically affecting the stocks of companies like Tesla. This is a primary reason why Tesla stock is down 20+% after blowing away expectations by a staggering amount with their Q4 deliveries. As Dan points out, this changes nothing about the enormous disruption currently underway. Yet, market panics, people sell Tesla stock and many other growth stocks as well, and they're currently on a gigantic, unreasonable, brain-dead discount.
This continues to be, in our opinion, the best way to play. We'll call it the green tidal wave. It's the biggest transformation of the auto industry since 1950s. And when you start to look at the profitability of Tesla, the gross margin profile, that's what's changed in the Tesla story. And look, in this market, all the bears will come out of hibernation that have been negative for the last 7-8 years, and we get it. But I just believe this is one that's going to continue to prove itself out. And I'm more bullish on Tesla today, especially given what we see the valuation.
All right, well, your fundamental pick there lines up with what I was saying on the charts earlier. It's the one that hasn't broken, technically. There's not a lot to dislike so far in Tesla just yet.
And now, as promised, a really quick stock portfolio update. Still all in on Tesla stock. Average price now has exceeded $200 per share. Still buying with every spare cent. Little over 6,000 shares in total. And just in the interest of full transparency, if you want to pause, feel free. Just got to run through every transaction in terms of buying Tesla stock. Never sold any Tesla over the past 5 or so years. If you want to pause and take a look in detail, go for your life. You can see the more recent purchases toward the bottom here. Some of these very much in the red, down 5, 6, 7, 20+% here and there. Made a bunch of purchases today. I'll zoom in on those. I'm definitely not a troll or an idiot, and I don't know why all of these purchases happen to end in 0.69 or 0.42. Now it's time to talk about how I screwed up, my biggest investing secret, and how the two kind of go hand in hand. So when I say I've been buying Tesla stock with every spare cent, I literally mean it. Somehow my bank account has become overdrawn because I f***ed up, I miscalculated, I put a little bit too much money into my trading account and kind of forgot that a bunch of my mortgages relating to my investment properties had repayments due. I did check, but I forgot that these repayments, because I got multiple properties and multiple loans, happen all over the month. I thought, they all happen on this date, I'll be fine. And it turns out I f***ed up. Not only that, but I already have overdue bills. And not only that, but I also have a multi-6-figure tax bill coming up in just a few months' time, for which I have allocated exactly $0. Now, the reason that I'm sharing this with you guys and girls is simply to convey the level of conviction I have for Tesla's future and how damn f***ing cheap the stock is right now. At least, in my opinion. How many of you watching at this point in time have ever said or thought, man, I wish I invested more in Tesla stock in, name your year, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I wish I bought more when it was this price or that price. Well, one, I've never been that guy. As I said, I've poured every spare cent into Tesla stock for more than half a decade. There was no point since 2016 at the beginning of the year where I could have invested more in Tesla stock than I already have. This is why I'm literally flat fucking broke right now, and we'll talk more about this in just a moment, because I still see the enormous opportunity ahead, and I don't want to be that guy or girl who goes, oh man, I wish I bought more Tesla stock when it was under 1,000 in early 2022. Just not going to be that guy. And I just want to talk about risk tolerance, being conservative in terms of investing, etc., because I think a lot of people misunderstand. They think that I'm an extremely high risk investor. I have a very high risk tolerance. Don't get me wrong. I'm willing to take risks if I've done the math, and in my opinion, it seems to make sense. I think a lot of people misinterpret my style of investing as high risk, when in my opinion, it's not. I have an enormous informational advantage over the average investor when it comes to Tesla. The reason that I'm all in on Tesla stock at this point in time, currently comprises, 85, 90+% of my net worth, isn't because I'm a moron and I think, you know what, just all in on Tesla, one stock, that's it, fucking diversification, blah, 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 who cares about that? I would have been totally fine owning 5 different companies or 10. The thing is, I have not seen an opportunity that comes close to Tesla when it's adjusted for risk reward. Sure, there may be some companies out there, stocks that perform better than Tesla over the next X period of years. That's inevitable, but I have not been able to find a better opportunity. I didn't set out one day and decide I'm just going to go all in on this one company because that's easy. The reason that this has happened is a consequence of me having done my research, seen the opportunity, and noticed the enormous disconnect. I genuinely believe that Tesla over the next 10 years at minimum is a 10x from where we are today if everything that can go wrong does. In my opinion, 10x over 10 years, not too bad in a worst case scenario. If you guys want to see all of my scenarios, the worst case, base case, plus the bull case, check out the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. Access my Tesla price targets. If you want to go a step further, my Tesla valuation model on Patreon at the investor support level and above. The point is, I have an extremely high level of conviction, which has resulted in me seeing Tesla stock as an extremely low risk investment based on my perspective, and I'm personally putting my money where my mouth is. My actions match my level of conviction. That being said, it is possible that I could be wrong, but I'm arrogant and confident enough to say I won't be. Many folks seem to get the impression watching this YouTube channel that I'm a total fanboy, I'm deluded, I have confirmation bias, I can't see any potential negative outcomes, I don't assess risks relating to Tesla accurately, but this couldn't be further from the truth. I've spent an incalculable amount of time thinking through and considering every possible risk factor that I can. The key here is that when doing so, having actually thought deeply about that instead of saying something brain dead like, oh, won't the competition come? I actually look into this and go, well, hang on a minute. Tesla's pace of innovation, the DNA of the company, the engineering talent, the fact that they've embarrassed the entire automotive industry in terms of what they've already done with innovation in manufacturing and they're just getting started. The fact that they need a better battery cell and then decide to invent one themselves when no one's done this before. They invent a new cell, embarrass the entire battery industry. The fact they have an unassailable lead. I could keep going on. I have actually thought about all these things and not just 1 or 2 layers deep. I've thought about these 42 layers deep, 69 layers deep. And the truth is, the risks outside of things that nobody can control, like an extinction level impact event, are so vanishingly small in terms of their potential to impact my thesis that when I do the risk analysis, I'm completely comfortable to be all in on Tesla stock. The biggest risk that I've personally identified in Tesla stock, and I'm being serious here, is not pouring every spare cent into it. And please don't misunderstand, this isn't investment advice. This is based on what I know and believe. For somebody who knows literally nothing about Tesla to go all in on Tesla stock, they'd have to be a fucking moron. There's huge risk associated with that. They haven't thought through any of the potential risks. They haven't thought through the future of the company. They don't know what they're doing. But in my opinion, with enough time, enough thinking, one can de-risk particular investments if they have an informational advantage, if they can see things that others can't, and they're not deluding themselves. Now, onto my big investment secret. This is a strategy that I've been employing since day one when I began investing more than a decade ago. My goal is to stay broke. As you guys and girls have just seen, I'm literally less than 0% cash at this point in time. Literally broke and then some. This has been a great psychological hack. The surplus income I have every month before I even think, oh, I've got some money, bang, invested, broke as f***, nothing to spend. This has been a great way not only for me to build my investment portfolio, but a great hack for avoiding lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle creep is the enemy of wealth creation. This is something I've never really understood. I just can't relate, but most people, as their income increases, tend to increase their expenses, their lifestyle accordingly. If your income increases 10% and your expenses increase 10%, you're actually going backwards because you forgot about tax. But the point that I'm making here is most people, oh, I've got more money to spend, I'm going to spend that money. Whereas if my income has increased an order of magnitude over the last decade, give or take, but my expenses, the cost of my lifestyle hasn't inflated to fill that gap. My expenses as a percent of my overall income has barely changed in the past decade. And just to be clear, I'm not suggesting people deprive themselves or their family of things that are important over time when they have the means. But what I am getting at here is because I've been able to keep my expenses fairly steady and consistent in terms of a percent of overall income. As my income has increased, that money hasn't been spent on new expenses. That money is now available for investing. Because I decided to stay broke, I've invested approximately 80% of my after-tax income over the last decade. And I haven't noticed, I haven't missed anything. It didn't feel like I was lacking or missing out. It seems to be the case that if you don't have the money to spend, you'll make do without it. Of course, this way of thinking and acting, staying broke, may not work for others, but it's definitely worked for me. And by the way, when I talk about staying broke and having no money, I just want to be clear, I'm not a fucking moron. Obviously, if the shit hits the fan, if I have an unexpected expense, there's some levers that I can pull. I'm not an actual moron, I'm not going to starve to death. Relax. So in summary, Tesla stock, way too cheap in my opinion, and it's only a matter of time before the stonk market figures this out. Dan Ives says if there was only one company he could bet on, it would be Tesla. Funnily enough, I agree. And a little bit of an insight into one of my investing philosophies. Staying broke is an excellent way to create wealth. I'd love to know in the comments below if you have any mind hacks, any philosophies, any ways of thinking about things or seeing the world relating to money, investing, finance, or just in general? Have you experienced lifestyle creep as your income has grown over time? Have you increased your expenses basically in proportion? If not, what have you done with the extra cash? Have you been buying the dip? And if so, share details below. And just finally, anyone getting sick of me pointing out for the 420 millionth time in a row that Tesla stock is way too cheap? In my opinion, because I'm not going to stop. I'm not here to be creative and say something new every day. I'm here to say something accurate every day. And if it's still true, then I'm going to say it. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.